Welcome to Season 2 of the Maine Podcast, where small businesses join together to think outside the box and learn how to roll with the punches and stay in the fight. We invite you to tune in whether you're a skeptic, on the fence, or have many years creating Maine-made products. Let's keep that entrepreneurial fire burning strong as we put Maine on the map with the Maine Podcast. All right, everybody, we have Bruce Graybill from Siders Woodcrafting on the Maine Podcast today. Siders Woodcrafting is a family-operated small business that started in October of 2015. They started making cutting boards out of domestic and exotic pieces of wood. Their mission is to highlight the natural beauty of wood by creating functional pieces of art. From their humble beginnings in a camper-converted workshop, they've been able to grow to produce over 2,000 cutting boards in 2019. Then, in 2020, they lost their converted workshop to a fire 3 weeks before COVID hit the USA, which then caused a cancellation of all the craft years for the following year. They were left staring at a pile of ashes, and they had to start over again at ground zero. But through the help of their friends, community, and the social media world, and an insane amount of hard work and late hours, they've continued to rebuild and grow. This is going to be a great story, guys, and I'm so glad to have my friend on here. And we've had him on last season. He was willing to come back for season 2. It's Bruce Graybill. Thanks, Bruce, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, Bruce, you heard it just in the intro. The last time we had you on the show, it was emotional. It was just heart-wrenching to hear. As a small business owner myself, I couldn't imagine having to start from scratch. Would you take a couple minutes to kind of refresh us on the fire and, what happened after that? How did you start over?
Yeah, so the fire, and we lost everything in the fire, and we were underinsured, and so that was, we almost gave up, but then like we had talked about on the show last time, we just had people reach out to us from social media, and people helped raise some funds to help us out, and we had people donate tools. I had a friend of mine let me use his shop for almost 8 months until I could get my new shop up and running. So yeah, that's it was a daunting task to start all over again, and there was a couple times where we were like, is this going to work? But it is. So
yeah, but it wasn't something that just happened overnight, right? You had to put in a lot of late nights, like you said, a lot of hard working hours. And, it's still, I'm guessing you still have a lot that needs to be done. Now you're in a new workshop right now, correct?
yeah, we are in a new workshop, and we do work a lot of late hours, and we're not able to do everything we used to do, even though we're in a bigger workshop.
Wow.
Because we don't have all the tools that we had before, because we had 5 years worth of tools that I had acquired,
Right.
and then we lost everything. So I still haven't been able to replace all those tools yet. So we're, having to pick and choose what we can do. So that's been a challenge too, because some of our income from shows is gone, but then some of the some of the stuff that we sell, we can't sell because we don't have the tools to make it.
So you're still in the process of rebuilding. This is going to be an ongoing thing. And so you said for 8 months you were working at a temporary workshop. How did that come to happen?
Just a friend from the Bangor Woodworkers Association.
Right.
He had a huge shop and didn't use it as much as as I would need one. And he's like, it's big enough for both of us. So he let me set up shop there for about 8 months. And then while I was working on this as well, on the new shop. So
I can't remember if I've asked you this before. I just had my friend Matt from Black Dog Ironworks on, and
yeah.
he talked about how the blacksmithing community is a very tight-knit community where they're there to help each other out, to give advice and instruction. And is that very similar to the woodworking as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I'm literally sitting in front of a table saw, a Delta cabinet table saw that was given to me by a woodworker down in New York City. And he gave me a jointer and a drill press and a planer, and he gave me a whole bunch of tools for free. He saw my story and said, come on down and get it. So yeah.
And so you're starting to rebuild the tools back up. I mean, I'm thinking that these tools are, they're large costs. What's the process on acquiring new tools? Do you wait till the money's available? Do you go the credit route and buy it and work on paying it off? What makes you say, okay, now's the time to get the next bigger tool?
Yeah, so we're really trying to avoid debt as much as possible with our
Yeah.
small business because that's one of the biggest reasons small businesses fail is they get too much debt versus income, and we don't want to fall into that hole. So we do have a mortgage payment that we have on this property, and so
Mhm.
that's the first debt that we've acquired for this business. So right now um, we're trying to save up for the tools that we need. So
But you already have things, you already know what you're going to be getting. You already have it all mapped out and planned.
yeah, right now I'm trying to figure out, like, I know I need a drum sander, but it's like, do I get the drum sander or do I get a helical head for my planer? Because both of them I need, and they're both about the same price. So yeah, so it's just trying to figure out which one do I go with first. It's probably going to be the helical head for my planer.
And that's the thing is you said you need certain tools to make certain projects and products. And so what products are you currently offering now, and which ones were good money makers that you'd like to start making them again?
Yeah. So the end grain chopping blocks was one of the board. That's pretty
Mm.
much the only product we're not able to make right now because we need either a drum sander or a helical head for the planer to do the end grain boards, because they have a tendency to not like going through a chopping blade. So you either need a big sander that can level them out properly or a helical blade. But what was the other part of the question? I'm
So
sorry.
you're sticking with your bread and butter with the cutting boards and
Yep.
the things that are they smaller items, a lot of the smaller items that you're doing, but you said you're doing some custom work too?
Yeah, doing custom work. A lot of charcuteries. And I'm going to be I have a 5x8 table that I'm going to be building with epoxy out of a walnut slab
I've
with a nice.
noticed the epoxy thing recently. Is that something that you've always done, or is that something new that you've just started doing recently?
Yeah, I've always done the epoxy, and but it's really started to take off, especially when I messed up on my cribbage boards. I
Yeah.
normally do. So it's funny. I messed up on a cribbage board, and I planed them too thin to be able to drill the holes in it. And I'm like, well, what can I do with this? Because I had $55 here of epoxy, and I don't want to just throw that away. And I'm like, well, I'll make coasters out of it. Well, they blew up on the internet, and so now I'm making a ton of these epoxy coasters with all my cutoffs, like I did with the cribbage boards, and I'm selling them faster than I was with the cribbage boards, and I'm saving the wood that I was
Right.
normally throwing away.
Right.
So
Wow. And that's it right there. I got to visit Origin Maine facility in Farmington, Maine, and they do all sorts of things from jujitsu gis
mhm.
and boots and jeans, denim jeans. And I remember one of the things that they were talking about when we were there taking a tour was there was a bunch of leftover leather pieces from the bison leather boots that they make, and they were trying to figure out ways to use that scrap product, right? Instead of just tossing it,
Yep.
writing it off as waste, they were trying to formulate ways to use it. And I love the fact that you've created these coasters. So the cribbage boards was what you were using originally for extra wood.
Yeah, I was making the epoxy. So the molds, it's kind of funny because the size mold that I used for the cribbage boards, I could get 4 sets of cribbage boards out of a mold.
Yep.
The exact same mold I can get 5 sets of coasters out of. So I can make a whole, I made 7 molds. And so I can pour all 7 molds, and then I can decide, do I want to do coasters or cribbage boards? So that's been awesome that just happened to work out that they are.
That is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been
Now,
awesome.
what does it look like from a retail standpoint as far as sales go? Are you able to squeeze out a few more dollars with the coasters as opposed to just the cribbage board?
Yeah.
Or is it
So
more of a volume, you sell more? Because sometimes that's what I look at. Like sometimes I could get more money for a certain box or a product, or I could find them maybe a little bit lesser margin, but sell a lot more of them.
Yeah. So the cribbage boards are a lot less labor intensive to get a finished product.
Gotcha.
So there is more profit in the cribbage boards for me. But you also take into effect though too, I'm also supplying solid brass pegs and a deck of cards
That's right.
too with those cribbage boards in that price because I sell my cribbage boards for $75. And so, and then the coasters are $45, but each individual coaster has to get sanded. Each one of these gets sanded 6 times. So,
Whoa.
yeah. So
Why?
there's a,
Why is it the epoxy that's just really rough and you need to smooth it down, or just to make it a nice level surface?
it's just so it's our finish. We really stand
Yeah.
behind. We want a nice product, and we want to make sure that everything that we make is the same quality finish, whether it's a coaster all the way up to a piece of furniture. So I'd rather take a little bit of that time just because we want people to know that no matter what they're buying from us, it gets the same attention. So that's why we do that. We want to make sure that we have a good product, and
Yeah.
so I don't want to skimp on what I'm doing with the products I'm selling.
Right.
So
Speaking about a quality product, have you been able to continue to source all of these exotic woods? Because last year was very challenging. We know on our side of the business. How about you? Has it been harder to get certain woods, and have you seen the prices of the raw materials increase?
yeah, so wood has gone up in price,
Mm.
not drastically yet. There are rumors going around that maple is going to take a huge jump that the market has never seen before. So we're watching that pretty closely because we use a lot of maple.
Yeah.
And if the maple does go up drastically, I don't know what we're going to do because they're talking almost $1 a board foot going up, and that's unheard of in the woodworking industry. And
Man.
so we're watching that really closely. We are working on increasing our prices a little bit because our materials are going up.
Yeah.
And then we do have a higher overhead now because before, we didn't have a mortgage payment. We didn't have, I heated with wood, but that's what caused the fire. So I'm now heating with propane because I don't want, I'm trying to be more safe. And so
Yeah.
we have a higher overhead now. So there was just a lot of aspects to working in a smaller shop, now being in a bigger shop, that we hadn't planned on. And so we have to figure all those costs into our product.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
That's
it's
just
been
the
a little
way
bit
it
of a
goes,
challenge.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult because you don't want to feel like you're overpriced, and it's tough for the average consumer to really understand, how much of these overhead costs that we deal with as a small business owner, not to mention taxes and all that fun stuff too.
Yep.
So, just some of the challenges here for people listening and watching. The small businesses is no easy task. How about the decision you made recently to leave both of your jobs to become a full-time woodworker? To bring us through that, Bruce.
It was a very scary situation. And it was the decision was almost made for me. The retailer that I was working for, I injured my shoulder and they wouldn't let me work. And so I had like 3 months off of my job, and I just worked in my shop doing things that wasn't hard on my shoulder, and business just started coming in, and I was able to accept the jobs
Hmm.
because I wasn't working full time. And I'm like, this is going to work if I go full time. So when my leave was up, I turned in my notice and said, I'm
Wow.
not coming back. And then with law enforcement, it just was working all the overnights, and it was just taking away from my family, and it was
Yeah.
interfering with the business. And it was time for me to leave. And 17 years I was happy, and I was ready to be gone. I miss it, but I enjoy what I'm doing more. So
Well, Bruce, thank you for serving your community for that long. And boy, I can imagine you were stretched pretty thin. And when you had told me the first time when we were on the show there, when you told me that you were doing all these things and you're a husband and you got, kids, I couldn't believe how you did it. Something had to give, right? There's no way you're seem to be a pretty incredible guy, but there's no way you could do all of those things at 100%.
mhm.
So I'm glad that it sounds like it all worked out.
Yep.
It all
I'm
worked out. The shoulder thing and not being able to work at the job. Maybe that's what needed to happen in order for you to see, I can do this full time. And I believe in you, man.
Yeah, I definitely believe it was a God thing.
Yeah,
And yeah, and but I will tell you, I even though I'm doing this full time, I'm like, there's still not enough time in the day
sure.
because I'm just so busy with everything that's been going on. So
Isn't that interesting how you can leave two jobs and pour a good amount of that time into the business, and yet it still doesn't seem like there's enough time to keep up with everything.
right.
I completely understand that. I have to train myself to turn things off and just realize, what, it's going to be there tomorrow. And so, getting some rest and learning how to balance all the responsibilities. It's quite a task.
Yeah.
So, wow. So you made the big jump, you full-time woodworker. What's your average day look like now? Before, I'm thinking it was much different than what it is now.
So usually Sundays I just dedicate to responding to a lot of emails and finalizing things, but usually every day in the morning around 4:35 in the morning, I will get up and
Early
well,
bird.
yeah, well, my wife wakes up at that time in the morning because she teaches online.
Yeah.
So to kids over in China. So I'm usually when she wakes up, I wake up. So I will get online and I'll respond to some emails, and then I'll work on stuff for TikTok and like doing finalizing editing of the videos and stuff like that I filmed from the day before.
Right.
And then I will usually head to the shop between 7:30 and 8 in the morning because I have to help watch my kids until she's done teaching.
Yep.
And then I'm down in my shop till sometimes 5 o'clock,
Mhm.
sometimes midnight. It all depends on what I'm
Wow.
doing. So, but that's usually what my day looks like. And yeah, so
Do you take a break anywhere in there to eat some lunch or?
yeah, I do take a couple breaks like once in a while. Like I'll usually work for like 2 hours and then I'll take like a 20-minute break to kind of like respond to messages on like
Yeah. Yeah.
comments on TikTok. And then I try to post 3 times a day on TikTok. And
So
then
TikTok is for those listening. I'm not even super familiar with it, so I'm not even going to try to explain it. I don't understand it completely, but I know that some people have had some, I guess, success on it, like yourself. How would you explain to the average person what TikTok is?
uh, I, all I can say is TikTok is I love TikTok. I mean, 90% of my income right now is coming from TikTok. I mean,
Wow, are you
literally,
serious?
I am dead serious.
Wow,
Not
maybe I need to get
90
on TikTok.
90% of my customers are coming from TikTok.
Wow.
It's just insane. And I have customers that are coming from the UK, and I have customers that from Louisiana. I'm building a table for someone down in Louisiana, and he found me on TikTok. There's a gentleman in Illinois that wants me to wants to buy a whole bunch of stuff to hand out as Christmas gifts, and he's already contacting me because he's like, I like your content and I like what you do and I like watching your lives. And so, but it does take a lot of time and
Sure.
you have to focus on it. And to be successful on TikTok, they say you need to post at least 3 times a day, a video 3 times a day. And then you need to do lives at
So
least.
what is it
Yeah.
like? What are the videos that you post, and what is it? What do you mean when you say lives? Like, what are you just like me walking down the street talking to people like
Well,
that?
yeah, it all depends on what you do. So I try to be very interactive in my lives because I know. So a live is when they're literally watching you live at what you're doing, and so sometimes you can just do a Q&A, or
Mhm.
which I do that once in a while, depending. But a lot of times I'll wait till I have a project that I'm going to be doing, and then I'll go live with that project, and then I'll be like like the other live I just had, I was doing an epoxy pour for all these cribbage for all the coasters, and I was letting the people on live pick the colors.
Oh wow.
And then I did a live where I was assembling cutting boards, and I was letting people pick the colors for the cutting board for the blanks for the cutting boards, and it takes me longer to get that done, but
Yeah,
I I actually make money on those lives
sure.
because
Just the interaction.
yeah, from the interaction, and people will go to my website and will buy, like they'll be like, that board that I helped assemble, I want to buy that. And then they've already are sending me a deposit on it because they want to buy it because they were there and they saw it being built. And so it kind of creates that relationship. And so it's an
So
awesome thing.
you're not using TikTok for your dance moves. You're using it as a platform to just kind of say, "Hey guys, I'm a Mainer and I'm out here making some cool wood pieces. check it out, be a part of the creative design process.
Yep.
And this is what we do. Here's some live videos. So am I right? Did I see one go viral recently?
You did. Yeah. I was
Um,
not expecting it at all to go viral. A friend of mine asked me to help him pour an epoxy river in his floor in his house up in Millinocket, and I just
Epoxy
posted.
river. What is that?
So he had a whole bunch of friends, asked them for like things that represented their friendship, and he put them in that could kind of be found in a river, and he put them in this. He cut into the floor, made sure that there wasn't any structural issues, cut into the floor, and we put rocks in, and then there was hand carved fish in it, and fishing lures, and we did set different like sets of three of things. So like there's three arrowheads in there, three keys,
Yeah.
three rusty nails, and just kind of did a whole bunch of different things, and it made it look like a river. There might be a badge from my retired police hat that's in
Right.
that. And then we poured epoxy in it, and it's like a giant I Spy as well. So
So what is
um,
epoxy anyways? Just is a binder that holds stuff together?
yeah, so it's two liquids. It's usually a resin and then a hardener. And when you mix them together, there's a chemical reaction and it turns into a solid. So the epoxy I use is a soy-based epoxy, and it has hardly any VOCs coming from it, which is like
Mm.
a bad odor that can actually cause health issues. This has hardly any, which it's actually safe to not even wear a respirator with it, and which is unheard of in the epoxy world. And it has literally no odor, and it's soy based, so it's great.
And you get this, you have someone you buy it from, obviously. Are you able to get it in large quantities? How much did you use on this river? Uh,
34 gallons we used on this river.
wow, that sounds
Oh,
expensive.
it very expensive, about close to about $3,500 in epoxy,
Whoa,
just in epoxy. But I have a contact out of Texas that I can buy it from, but it is a Canadian. It's funny, it's a Canadian company out of Quebec, and but I'm buying it from someone in Texas. So I just find it funny. There's nobody in Maine that sells it. So
right. That's
yeah.
kind of ironic. So you're using this epoxy, you do this video, this TikTok video on this river in this guy's floor with all these cool pieces in it, and a bunch of news and radio pick it up, TikTok, and just all of a sudden you have how many people have seen it?
So I went from there. I might like around 5 million views
Wow,
on the videos combined, but I think the one video has like 3 million views. But yeah, yeah. So it's
that's
just been the
crazy.
same.
I
Yeah,
guess I gotta cut a river in my floor over here or something, man.
yeah.
That was quite the process. It was a long journey for you to get up there and make all of that, and sounds like it was worth it in the end. And you got a good story to tell. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
pretty
we went.
awesome.
Yeah, we went from 7,500 followers to 80. We're just today I checked, and we're a little over 81,000 followers in a little over a month. So
Wow. Well, that's really cool that you can use, that social media platform. I don't even really think it's a social media thing, but it's just that platform to help grow your business, and especially where right now there's a lack of shows. I know that last time we talked, you were going to all these trade shows, and you get to sell your product, talk about your product. Now, all of those got canceled last year, which is really devastating for a lot of businesses, especially in the trade skills. So it doesn't look like this year's looking to be too much better with the shows. Maybe at the end of the year, will you go back to doing shows, or are you just going to focus on what, the TikTok and online?
so actually a lot of shows are going to happen this year. Apparently,
Okay,
where Bar Harbor is opening up for shows. We have um, pretty much a normal season in Bar Harbor this year, which we're excited about. We have to follow like the COVID
sure, sure.
protocols and stuff like that. But yeah, all the shows in Bar Harbor are on. I have shows. Some shows are saying that they're planning on doing it, but they're waiting to see if anything changes. So, but we are going to do more focus on our internet sales. And we are going to focus more on furniture this year too. We
Oh,
have a lot of
wow.
furniture. Yeah, we have several furniture builds already in the works. I have 3 pieces of furniture that I've already been commissioned to do,
Like
and I'm going to be.
tables and chairs, I'm guessing.
Yep, I have a five. No chairs, but I have a 5x8 table that I'm going to be making out of a walnut slab that has a burl in it, which is a
Oh, cool.
beautiful walnut slab, and it's a 5x8 table with I'm going to be doing with a curly maple legs and an apron going around it. And there's going to be an epoxy going right down the middle. And then I have a coffee table and a bench that are going to be going down to Louisiana. The table is for someone local. The walnut tables for someone local, but
Yeah.
the coffee table and the slab and the bench are going to Louisiana.
I
So
bet you like the local stuff a little bit more because you can either drop off or pick up. I got to think shipping tables and shipping the big stuff out of state is not fun.
and no, it's not fun. I haven't shipped any big tables yet. I have shipped like 6-foot charcuterie boards to
Yeah.
Oklahoma, and I have 7 more that are going to Oklahoma here. So yeah, they yeah, so
Can
the
you
same.
ship them separately or all together or?
I'm not sure yet, but like, so this is just one of
Oh,
the
wow.
charcuterie. Yeah. So, and this is a small one, really. So, but I have some that are like 6, 7 feet, and but yeah, they sent the 2 for 6 that were 6 feet, and they wanted 7 more. So it's a restaurant out in Oklahoma, near Oklahoma City, and but yeah, no, the stuff going to Louisiana. He actually is talking to me about wanting more furniture already.
Oh,
And so I told him, I'm like, well, depending on how much you order, it might just be cheaper and safer for me to drive it down. So
wow.
we might end up doing that. So,
Rent a U-Haul or something and just drive it or a trailer.
yep.
That's
Yeah, I have a 6x12 trailer, so enclosed trailer. So we'll just strap it in and go for a
we're
road trip.
taking a road trip, honey.
Yeah. It's all
You
tax
know,
write off, right?
people think that this is kind of an earlier point that I wanted to bring up where now you're full time, you're doing this full time. And I have some friends, I don't know if they're just joking or what, but over the years, they think that I have like this crazy amount of flexibility, and I do in some sense. But, for those that are for those that are watching and maybe they're thinking about starting a business, how do we bring it to the light that it's not as much flexibility as you think, that the job can actually be very demanding, and sometimes you don't feel like you can take a day off or you can take time off. Would you agree with that, and what do what are your thoughts on that?
I 100% agree with that, especially if you have an employee or employees working for you. I have one guy
I
that
was going to
works for,
ask you if you
yeah,
did, yeah, if you had someone
yeah.
working for you.
Yeah, I have Gabe. I've known him almost all of his life. My wife is cousins with his mother, and he asked me if he could work for me this year, and he's been working for me about 32 hours a week, averaging about
Oh,
32 hours a week. And
nice.
and he's actually getting to the point now where I'm struggling to stay ahead of him, so that he has things to do.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. We just talked about this. My friend Matt and I
yeah,
just talked. He just hired his first employee. I did, I think either last year or the year before. But so you have to plan your day. Matt and I were talking about how he's got to figure out all this work that he needs to make sure that he has ready for him. So it definitely changes it up, right?
it does. It does. And so like today was I had something I thought was going to take him all day today, and he literally got it done in like 4 hours, and I'm
Right.
like, "Oh
Uh-oh.
crap." So I was like really hustling to try to get stuff for him. So yeah, it really especially now that he's getting it. So which I'm excited about, because now I can start training him on other things.
Right. So just a little
So,
bit at a time. That's what we talked
yeah,
about. You see how they handle maybe some small tasks, and you give them more and more. But I know what you mean about thinking something's going to take, the whole day. And that's a good thing. Now, the other way around is not good, when something should only take half the day and it takes them the whole day. That's a different,
yeah.
so it sounds like you got yourself a good worker there.
He's really good. Yeah, you'll see him in a lot of my TikTok videos. He does the. We've kind of gotten a tradition where he does the video where it gets dipped, where the boards are being treated with the mineral oil,
Mhm.
and those are a pretty good video on there. So he likes doing those. So yeah,
Great. So yeah, it sounds like you're staying really busy, but like the flexibility thing it's very, very demanding. And you
it
already
is.
mentioned it, working long days, sometimes it's hard to even turn it off. It's like, whoa, it's already, dinner time. Do I stop or do I just keep going? Because you always feel like you need to get caught up, but like
Yeah.
sometimes it just never seems like you can get caught up.
And even when you're not in the shop, like even if I'm not in the shop and I'm up at the house, I'm still responding to emails or people calling. And
That I want
yeah,
to I want to tell you, Bruce, right now, I've been doing this for 5 years, full time, and I want to encourage you to, when you're home with the kids, and you may be doing this, but try not to check the emails all the time if you can help it, because it's going to be good for your mental health to just turn it off once in a while, because
yeah,
eventually, you seem like a go-getter, but eventually, it can definitely burn you out, and you're always thinking about, oh, did that charcuterie board get delivered in time? I got to check the tracking. I got to check,
I
so
do that all the time.
did it get there in time? Oh no, like why is it running behind? Because
Yeah,
I tell you what, I'm using FedEx, UPS, and the United States Postal Service, and we're seeing a lot of, over the past year, just a lot of issues with deliveries and just packages going missing. Have you
yeah,
experienced that too? And how do you handle that with something of high value?
yeah.
Does it make sense to put insurance on every single thing you sell?
So I don't put insurance on everything. I used to. I don't
It's
anymore.
costly.
Yeah, it's very costly, and it seems like the shipping prices have skyrocketed lately,
Yes, they have.
and stuff just takes forever to get there. And you'll watch the tracking numbers, and you'll see a package arrive in the town that it
It,
needs to be in,
I
and then
know.
the next day it's shipped a
It
hundred
goes somewhere
miles,
else, or it
goes
stays.
somewhere else, and then comes back, and it's like, what is going on? I shipped a package 3 days with USPS. I shipped it a 3-day delivery, and it took 7 days for it to get there. And when you call UPS to say, I paid for 3 days shipping, they'll say COVID, and it's like
Everything's COVID. Yeah.
every and it's kind of getting to the point where sometimes I feel like that's a cop out
Oh yeah,
for
for sure.
companies. But yeah, it's just it's and so I tell my customers, I'm like, hey, I paid for 3 days shipping, but I can't promise it's going to be there in 3 days. And most of them are pretty um lenient with
Yeah,
that. So
there's no guarantees anymore. And some people
yeah,
say, can you guarantee this? I'm like, I can't guarantee anything. Like, I can guarantee that I'll get it out the door in like 24 to 48 hours. But after that, I have to entrust the people that I hand it to get it to you. And they haven't been doing the greatest job lately. I know they've had some challenges as well. But
maybe with their yeah.
I've had some packages that were shipped out prior to Christmas that just came back to me this month.
Oh my word.
That's what, 3 months, 4 months? We're
Ah,
still getting returns. It's unbelievable. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
yeah. No, I mean, maybe with these new UPS trucks that they're getting, USPS trucks they're getting that have air conditioning in them, it might help speed them up a little bit.
That is pretty wild that these guys don't even have air conditioning in their
Yeah.
trucks. I mean, it's 2021. Like, come on, they got to get with the program here.
Yeah.
So you talked about insurance, whether you pay the couple, whatever it is, $5 every package. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Some services offer insurance, but good luck, man. I've issued like was it last month? I did like 50 insurance claims, and maybe like 5 of them got approved.
Yeah.
So it's
And
like,
it,
what?
and the thing that's frustrating too is like I'll ship a package with USPS, and one day it's like $10 to ship it, and I'll bring in another package the exact same size, but it's 1 ounce heavier,
That's
and
it.
it racks the price up to $20 to ship it, and it's like, so then I'm like, okay, well then I'll have to go to FedEx, because then I can usually ship it for $3 to $4 less with
Right.
FedEx. So, but yeah,
I
it's
think
just
once you
frustrating.
start seeing higher volumes, which I hope you get there again. I know you had a good ball. The ball was rolling quite a bit there beginning of last year. But if you can start getting higher volume, that's what they want to see. Really, for them, they just want to see a bunch of packages, and they'll maybe give you a better price. But then that price will just get increased every year. So
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at. My wife was on the phone for like 45 minutes today with a shipping company, and like that helps you analyze shipping.
yeah.
And really, there was not much. It's yeah, it's
It's pretty
so.
rough. So
But then you have the time to pack everything, and there's all that time to package everything, and then the cost of the packing materials too. And it's
yeah,
just it gets so. But I
I wish
mean,
some people would understand, that what goes into that, the packing, the shipping. Because I've seen a video, actually, I think it was a TikTok video of you packaging up one of those charcuterie boards, and it looked like you used like multiple rolls of bubble wrap and custom boxes and then probably a couple rolls of tape.
Yeah, I spent about $40 in just materials to wrap that
Oh,
board. Yeah. So, but and then I put another post on Instagram where I wrapped another charcuterie and it looked like a mummy because it was wrapped in so much bubble wrap it wasn't even funny.
you got to, and that's what I try to train my guys here is, this is our insurance, pretty much. Like, let's use bubble wrap, as much bubble wrap and tape, and any type of packaging materials to make sure that it gets there. Again, it's the quality of care, it's attention to detail, Bruce, and I know that you're all about that, and I love that. I think those are the businesses that really succeed, and I hope that your customers recognize it. Um, so speaking about customers, where do your customers typically find your product?
Right on our website, www.siderswoodcrafting.com. And that's SIDERS, woodcrafting.com.
And what about social media stuff? It sounds like TikTok. Is it you just type in Ciders Woodcrafting on TikTok and you'll
Yeah.
pop up?
Yeah, if you find Ciders Woodcrafting if you just type in Ciders Woodcrafting in the search box, I should pop up. You'll see a little Viking helmet hanging off my tree
That's right.
because I normally wear a Viking helmet on my TikTok videos.
I was wondering what that was all about.
It just happened. A lady that I know that I do craft shows with gave me a hat. She thought I looked like a Viking, so she knitted me a hat to make me look like a Viking. And one thing led to another. I ended up wearing it one day in a TikTok video, and it just became a thing. And
Was your
now
beard like braided too or something?
I did. Yeah, my wife braided my beard one
Oh
time, and
gosh.
yeah. So I did a couple. I did do a dance with the for a TikTok video. But hey, you
You're
got to at least have
entertaining.
one. You have to at least have one dancing video on TikTok, right?
I feel like this is the part that I enjoy about small business is you can have fun, and it's not all about, head down, working, get to work, no talking. We got to get these boards out the door. It's all about money.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously we need to make money to provide and have, an income, but I like the fact that you can be creative, you can have fun. And I like that. I definitely see that in your
Yeah.
business.
What I like about TikTok too is I can really express myself
Yeah,
throughout like just subtly in a video. Like I can have music that means something to me in that video, and or I'll put an inspiration or have someone
sure.
doing a motivational speech while watching me do the video. And I had someone reach out to me today, and they said that they were suffering from depression, and they saw my videos, and they went through, and every video they were watching had a encouraging message, and they ended up watching all these videos, and it just totally made them feel better. And they, you know,
Yeah.
they liked the content, and they liked my positive attitude and my positive spin to the
Isn't
videos.
that what we want to do? Like,
Mhm.
it's awesome to be able to make things with our hands and sell them and make money. But like at the end of the day, if you can impact somebody's life for good, to give them
Yeah.
that hope, um, that insight, make them smile, I love that. I love to be able
Yeah.
to. I love when we get good reviews, and I love talking to customers and trying to make their day better. So it's glad to hear that you're doing the same.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and I like to have fun on there, and I'd like to do some fun things, and I try not to be too serious on TikTok.
Sure,
I did post a video a little bit today that was a little bit serious, but it was just a message that should have gotten out there, and I felt like it was something I needed to say.
sure.
But otherwise, I try to be myself, and I'm kind of a
Yeah.
goofball. So
That makes two of us. So,
yeah,
anyways, as we're wrapping up, what are some new products that we can look out for? I mean, you talked about the table. You're starting to get
yep,
into some furniture pieces.
yep,
Any new spins on cutting boards, and
yeah.
what about the plans for the future?
So spins on cutting boards. We are doing a series on TikTok. What shape should we make? And so, like right here is a Jeep shape that
Oh,
someone
that is so
comment.
cool.
Yeah, so someone commented that they would like a Jeep shape, and then obviously we still have our state of Maines.
Yeah.
Someone asked for a bullet shaped cutting board, so here's a
Cool.
bullet
Cool.
shaped cutting
Yeah.
board. And then there's a sailboat, and then obviously different states like Connecticut, New
You
Hampshire's.
can do different
Um,
states. Yep.
yeah, do different states. So and we're just taking that comment and doing a video response to that comment. And then that's pretty much what we got for new. I mean, if you're looking for something, noodle boards have been a big thing lately. I'm not sure if you know what a noodle board is, but
Nope.
it's a lot of people will use it to roll out pasta, or they'll have them custom made to be the exact size of their range so that they can set it right down on top of their stove and have more counter space, and then but lift it up then when they want to cook. And
Very
so
cool.
those have been coming hugely popular, and we've been making a lot of those lately. So yeah.
Well, awesome. Bruce, I'm so glad to get you back on here. Season 2, it sounds like you're on the right track. You're rebuilding, you're putting in the work and putting in the time. You're having fun while you're doing it. You're TikToking it.
Oh yeah.
I'll make sure I check you guys out on TikTok. So thanks, man. Thanks for carving out a little bit of time to come on the Maine Podcast show. So, hey, make sure you guys check out Ciders Woodcrafting. Check him out on Facebook, social media, his website. Go support Bruce and his family.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to Season 2 of the Maine Podcast. We hope that you thoroughly enjoyed this episode and would like to ask you to consider sharing it with friends, family, and your business peers. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, you can find the Maine Podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and all other digital streaming services. If you would like to financially support the show and be a part of putting Maine on the map, you can subscribe to us on Patreon or email mainemainpodcast@gmail.com. So shop local, shop small, and save Maine businesses once and for all.